Do you hate your dining room in your camper? Those slide in and slide out dining benches? We're changing it up. Stick around and I'll show you how. Hi, I'm Steve Turtle and I'm a work camper. Steve Turtle.
It's a household name.
This is a channel about Jill and me, our adventures, our travels, and a whole lot of work camper stuff. If you're a work camper or you're dreaming to become a work camper, you should subscribe and ring that bell. If you ring the bell, you'll get a notification every time I post a new story. You don't want to miss one. Last week we were talking about the 10 hidden compensations of work camping at a campground. Carl was talking about some combat operations, and I gave you an update on our camper project number 5 of 3 planned camper projects. Now, if you missed that story and you'd like to see it, I'll leave a link right up there. This week I finished up the dining room, and I want to show you the finished project. Carl, he's talking about the weather, and I had a couple friends drop by for a visit, a weekend camp out. But first, Carl, the not weatherman. Thanks, Steve. It's mighty nice that you remembered me this week. It's time for the 7-day forecast. This week's going to be beautiful, except the weekend may turn a little for the worse. There's a good chance for some light rain on Friday, but it won't amount to much. Probably one of those passerby thunderstorms. If you're camping by a creek, a river, or some body of water, keep in mind, the water level may rise a little, just a little. So be prepared. I suggest one of these, just in case. Now Steve is going to explain that dining room thing that he's doing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about project number 5 of 3 planned camper projects, the dining room upgrade. This is part 2 of our dining room upgrade. Last week was part 1 and this is part 2. You know, Jill and I, we're always tearing something up. We don't like the dining table benches. Jill says they gotta go. So last week was demo week. I removed the old dining room, everything, a clean palette, and then I explained the plan on the new dining room upgrade. This is how the dining room project came together. Now, in trying to salvage the wood, I had to disassemble it or take it apart. Different pieces were stuck together, and of course, they use these staples, and they're about that long. They're huge staples, and sometimes when you start tearing the wood apart, it tears the wood up, so I don't get to use it. So I'm trying very careful to be gingerly and salvage as much as I can so I don't have to spend any money, because you know why? Because I'm cheap. First, I had to disassemble everything. I banged the boards apart, saving them one by one. They had a whole lot of staples, but they came apart pretty easy. So I'm going to try to knock a few of them out, and I'll probably have to hammer them one way and pull them out the other way. So I'm going to give it a shot, see what I can do. So I banged and pulled out some of the 100 staples that held it all together so I could salvage it for the new assembly. See that thing? It's huge. That's got to be 12 inches long. Man, those things are long. Then I measured each board to a precise size and cut it with the miter saw. I even managed to cut a few staples. Did I mention I used all the old hardware to put the assembly together? Because I'm cheap? Then I measured and cut 6 panels for the assembly using a utility knife. I drilled a hole in 2 of the panels using a hole saw for an electrical cord for the printer. I applied construction glue to each of the panels and placed them in the appropriate place and stuck them to the assembly. Wait a minute, I got all ahead of myself. I don't know what I did. I started talking about things, and I think I started putting stuff together and I didn't video it. So I'm going to try to explain this to you so it makes a little bit of sense. So here we go. I didn't show you this top board and this front board that's already installed. I didn't show you how I installed it. I stopped at my favorite store to buy a few supplies. Now I reused a good bit of stuff, but I needed 2 boards, a piano hinge, and some paint to finish up the project. Jill, she sanded and painted the boards, and I attached them using the old hardware. I cut an additional board for my computer. I sanded it, painted it, and attached it to a piano hinge on the existing shelf. It flips up when I'm not using it, and it flips down when I'm ready to use it. These are the panels from the old dining table benches. Reused, repurposed, cut to size. I added some trim pieces along each side. Give it a little something extra. And the project is complete until we decide to do something different. And who knows when that might happen. I have a laptop stand. It adjusts and it brings it up to just the right height. Jill, she has a desk chair, and I'm planning on getting a desk chair. Maybe next payday. Well, now that we got it all built, we got to put everything away. It's not fancy, but it's practical for us. Jill has room for all of her sewing stuff and a place to sew, and I have a place to work, to do my YouTube. No more crawling around on the floor and open up the bin and try to pull something out and find it and all of that business. Everything's in a nice, easily reached place, and it's visible and you can see it. It's going to work out really good. And the total cost, 2 boards, a gallon of paint, and a piano hinge, and the time to do the work, $40. Not bad for a cheap guy. Well, that's our dining room upgrade. Now, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Would it work for you? Do you have plans to do a dining room upgrade? What's your plans? What you plan to do? Let us all know. Leave us a comment down below. Ruff, 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 ruff. Friend Invasion 2020. We got all the friends together for last weekend. Had a blast. We had 4 campers that stayed the whole weekend.
Hi, YouTube.
Oh, it's a recording.
I am. It's a video.
Oh, this is going to be on the YouTube channel.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Right?
Oh, stop hiding.
Yeah.
We had a great weekend. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us. Come on down here. Check it out.
Yeah.
Great place. Thank you.
And then we had people show up on Saturday. Everybody brought a covered dish. We had a whole bunch of food laid out. Desserts, drinks, everything. Full scale party. And then we sat around and we talked and had a good time and told stories, and maybe some of them were a little bit tall tales, but we told stories. Played a little cornhole, had a little competition going on, and I think Alan set me up because he said he didn't know how to play cornhole, and he beat me pretty bad, so I'm still trying to lick my wounds and feel a little bit better about myself. And then later on we had a fire and we told some more tall tales and sat around and talked and had a good time. Had a great weekend. Can't wait till they come back. Well, that's my story for the week. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, click like down below and smash that subscribe button if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. New stories every week right here on this YouTube channel. And ring that bell. If you ring the bell, you'll get a notification every time I post a new story. You don't want to miss one. Leave me a comment. I like your comments. Makes me feel good. Makes me know if I'm doing the right thing. Until later, thanks for your time. Bye.